We've been struggling, a lot of us have been trying to find differences on substantive economic issues, important differences between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. We found one in the past couple of weeks. They've got a disagreement on gas tax.
I would give relief to families right now by making oil companies pay the gas tax.
This isn't a real solution. This is a gimmick.
Will Senator Clinton's gas tax holiday fly?
Gas tax has become the defining issue in this primary and in North Carolina. You and Senator McCain called for suspending the 18.4-cent federal gas tax.
So on this specific issue, she's more aligned with McCain than she is with Obama.
This defines, I think, the difference between myself and Senator Clinton. This gas tax, which was first proposed by John McCain and then quickly adopted by Senator Clinton, is a classic Washington gimmick. It is a political response to a serious problem that we have neglected for decades.
My proposal is very different from Senator McCain. Senator McCain has said, take off the gas tax, don't pay for it, throw us further into deficit and debt. That is not what I've proposed. What I've proposed is that the oil companies pay the gas tax instead of consumers and drivers this summer.
Economists say that's not going to happen. They say this is going to go straight into the profits of the oil companies. They're not going to actually lower their prices.
The problem with a gas tax is that if you take 18 cents off of the gallon of gas, it increases driving, and the oil companies will simply raise their prices to match the increase in demand. Most economists looking at this have seen that it's a complete wash and therefore a political gimmick as well as economic nonsense.
The two top leaders in the House are against it. Nearly every editorial board and economist in the country has come out against it.
It's stupid and it's dumb, and I don't know why Hillary Clinton kind of proposed it.
It's the dumbest thing I've heard in an awful long time from an economic point of view.
Even a supporter of yours, Paul Krugman of the New York Times, calls it pointless and disappointing.
A lot of economists out there think it's not going to achieve its desired results, and it's largely political pandering.
Can you name one economist, a credible economist, who supports this suspension?
Well, you know, George, I think we've been, for the last 7 years, seeing a tremendous amount of government power and elite opinion basically behind policies that haven't worked well for the middle class and hardworking Americans in America.
Can you name an economist who thinks this makes sense?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to put my lot in with economists, because I know if we did it right, that it would be implemented effectively. We got to get out of this mindset where somehow elite opinion is always on the side of doing things that really disadvantage the vast majority of Americans. There just doesn't seem to be an understanding about what people are going through.
I actually make less than $25,000 a year, so talking about gas prices is not academic for me. I really do feel pain at the pump. However, I do feel pandered to when you talk about suspending the gas tax. I don't think that it's really a reasonable plan, and call me crazy, but I actually listen to economists because I think that they know what they've studied.
Is there any serious economist out there who thinks this is a wise policy?
Listen, it's like I said before. She's got a long-term agenda for a low-carbon energy future with a strong cap-and-trade proposal.
What about this? I mean, what's the economic rationale for eliminating these gas taxes over 3 months?
It's just a little bit of relief for the people that are struggling and the truckers that are struggling day by day right now.
Here's the upshot. You're looking at suspending a gas tax for 3 months. The average driver would save 30 cents per day for a grand total of $28.
I'll give you $30. Maybe you can buy 2 pizzas. Maybe you can buy school supplies. I'll help you out a little bit for now.
That's assuming that the oil companies don't step in and raise prices by the same amount that the tax has been reduced.
My friend Doug calls it a gimmick. Senator Obama has called the gas tax moratorium phony. He voted for it 3 times in the Illinois state legislature.
He admitted,
3 times.
He admitted he was wrong.
He understood then what middle American, middle class families know now.
I have some experience on this because in Illinois, we tried this when I was in the state legislature, and that's exactly what happened. The oil companies, the retailers, were the ones who ended up benefiting.
You voted for it. So
I did, exactly.
And when gas is only $2 a gallon?
And that's my point. I voted for it, and then 6 months later, we took a look, and consumers had not benefited at all. But we had lost revenue.
So you learned from a wrong vote?
I learned from a mistake. And in addition, what happens is that this would come out of the Federal Highway Fund that we use to rebuild our roads and our bridges. And if we don't have that fund, then we're looking at thousands of jobs being lost in Indiana and in North Carolina.
Since a suspension of the gas tax would encourage continued overconsumption, which could possibly cancel out any price savings and also undermine our efforts to curb global warming, and your long-term plan includes trying to, say, curb global warming, don't you feel that these two plans are in conflict?
No, we're talking about short-term relief and a long-term plan. And I have a very comprehensive long-term plan. Go to my website, hillaryclinton.com.
Nobody thinks that George Bush is actually going to spend or is actually going to sign a law for windfall profits taxes, so that's not going to happen this summer.
This is really a political discussion, a moot discussion, because it doesn't look like it's going anywhere on Capitol Hill.
So what this is a strategy to get through the next election. And Senator Clinton's own staff told the Washington Post, we don't think this is really going to go anywhere. We don't think it's going to work, but we think it's a good issue to use in a campaign. That's what Washington does. We don't deal with the serious issues that are in front of us. We try to figure out what's going to poll well and what can we do to get through the next election.
It's a pander?
Yes.